So that was just a quick little run for this little 1980s Slimline, the Z160. 160, not to be confused with the basic upright from the late 60s that was the precursor to the 170. For some reason, the numbers come back round again by 1982. Not quite sure what Electrolux were thinking, but who knows. So this model was the replacement for the 96, model 96, which was the yellow little cloth bag only vacuum that was available until about 1982, which is when this came out. So this is the first of the Slimlines. Let's bring it a little bit nearer. There we go, you can see it better. Yeah, this was the first Electrolux Slimline that came out. And there's no more cloth bag. That's now gone. You've got a proper paper bag in here. And you've got exhaust at the side, each side. So there's no blowing port, which is why you can stand it up like this and switch it on easily, and you're not impeding any kind of sort of airflow and letting the motor overheat. So it's got this lovely little badge on it. I tell you what, let's undo the hose because then we can move it around a bit better. Talk about tools in a minute. Got this lovely little badge on here, which I've saved. I debated, do I take it off or do I leave it on? I think I'm going to leave it on for now. I have removed it to clean underneath, and it is all the same colour still, so it's not hiding any fading. I'm not sure if this is the original colour, but everywhere, even inside, it's this sort of creme caramel colour. I don't know, there's probably an official term for it at the time, but there we are, under our little carry handle, which is quite good. It's gone across the middle, whereas if you remember with the 87 and 96, the handle goes right at the centre of the machine, so you'd hold it here. This acts as carry handle, and you can wrap the cord around it, and you've got these little clips at the bottom, or hooks, I suppose you'd call them. So let's open it up. Let's turn it this way, and there's no latches or anything. You just have to pull at it, and then the door comes away. And see, it's the same colour inside as it is on the outside. This is clean. I don't know how well the camera picks it out, but there are the tiniest little bits that persist in the corners, and I've used toothpicks, brushes, all sorts of things. The blower from another machine. Still not quite as pristine as I would like it, but then it's a used vacuum, what do you expect? So yeah, so it's nice and shiny. It's got a little badge on there. It says it weighs 9.5 pounds. So it's easy to carry around, and 700 watt twin fan motor. So that's 150 watts more than you had with your 96. And you can feel it with using this, but we'll come to this in a minute. So here's our bag. I can't remember the number. Is it E5? I think is the Electrolux bag code. And then inside, it's the same as we might have seen in other Slimlines. Now this filter is not correct. I've put this in because there was some foam there that it all disintegrated. And I have got some fish foam somewhere, but I can't find it. So I've put one of these in for now. It's fine. It acts as a filter, so it's not too bad. We put our our bag back in here, and it moves this little clip which is sprung. So I think that is to aid with the closing of the bag door. So you just slot it on, and then it's done. On-off switch, that's all you get on this. Vents at the side, that's foam as well. Well, is it foam? It's a half foam. It's a cross between foam and like your regular filter. It's got a funny texture. I've washed these because the whole thing's come apart. The motor's been cleaned out. But you've got that either side. You can't replace these. If you look at it, you have to unscrew everything and get the motor out, or the motor cover off, to be able to get to these. So I don't think that was the finest hour, if I'm honest. Glide plate on the bottom. Oh, you can hear something rattling around in there. Glide plate there, which I had polished, and then our sole plate, serial number, rating plate, whatever you call it. Camera won't focus, so I'll read it to you. And the date on it, yeah, Z160, product number 9003152, serial number is 410. So the 10th week of 1984. So I'm guessing this is a bit of a late one, because I think this was replaced in either late 84 or beginning of 85 with the model 165. So I thought I'd dig out some paperwork just to flesh this one out a bit. Oh, I'll tell you what, before we do the paperwork, we'll talk about tools. So you get the usual, decent size crevice tool. This one I don't think has been used that much. It's got some marks on it, but generally it's cleaned it really well. The old famous butterfly tool, and everybody's unfavourite flip over. These are, although this is in good condition and it's fine on the hard floor because of the brushes, because it's so powerful, because it's 700 watt motor, it's useless on carpet because it sticks. And you've got no way to release the pressure, because I'll show you in a second, there's no suction control on the hose. So this, as much as I always say I like them, it's a romantic childhood attachment to them. It's not because I think they're the greatest tool. So it is a bit of a struggle. But it's nice to have that. And that kind of matches, plastic-wise and colour-wise, with some of my later 500 series toolkits. Or at least the black tools for it. So I can use this with the two extension ones for when I'm using, say, like the 561 or the 1070 for hard floor. So it's perfect. Extension tube wise, we have two. They're smaller, so they fit into the smaller box that the vacuum came in. So effectively it's the same as you would have had previously, where you had this huge big long extension tube, but you get the smaller version. So two of those, and these are in quite good condition. So you put them together, you can attach any of your tools to it. And then we have a crush proof hose, so it's the same 3-point fitting at the end, and a single metal piece as the bent end, rather like you'd have with 96, 87, and your 500 series toolkit. I think at this time for the 502S, I think it had this sort of handle. But as I say, more powerful motor, but no means to control the suction or reduce the suction on here. And you do notice it, you really do notice it when you're on the carpet or when you're using the small tools for upholstery. When you're on the sofa, the motor really struggles because it's got no way to release. So that was a little bit short-sighted. It's easy to sit here and criticise, isn't it? I don't mean it as in it's dreadful, but it would be something that you wouldn't do in the long run. Anyway, so talking paperwork, I have actually uncovered this lovely little advert. So it's introducing the new Easy Does It range. So you've got a couple of more basic cylinders and more basic uprights. So these two, effectively a replacement for the 170. There is a 412? Hang on. I can't actually read the numbers. 414, 410. I think it's 412 that came out before these, which is in a sort of 502 greeny yellow, sort of mucus sort of colour. I think that was the first. That only seemed to last about a year and then it's replaced. This is dated December 82. So if we open it up, we'll look at the cylinders. Here we go. So here's our 160. And it just gives you a bit of a blurb about what the features are. I'm trying to tilt it so that you're not getting the reflection, because this room is, what do you call it, dual aspect. So there's windows coming at me from two sides. I don't know if that'll focus enough. We'll try. But it basically just says it's got 5 litre dust bag, 700 watt motor, stands on its end, 9.5 pounds, flex storage facility. You mean you wrap it round. And then we've got there the 180, which is slightly higher spec. 180 replaced 303. So 303, a bit like 96, also had a cloth bag in it, but you could put a paper bag inside that cloth bag. And that had no bells or whistles, it was just an on-off switch. A blowing port though. This, the difference, you've still got your bag, you've got cord rewind. And I think it's a more primitive version of cord rewind. I haven't got one of these, I haven't seen one even to tell you, but I've heard talk that it's an unusual way of pulling the cord back in. But again, same wattage of motor, you get the slightly better looking flip over, like you would have with 303, although without the metal strip on it. The deluxe, should we say. And then there's a bit about those two. I'm going to make a confession here. I don't really like these. And I don't mean it because they're awful. It's not that they're awful. They don't float my boat. They don't appeal to me. I have got a later version of this. It's in red. I can't remember the number. Is it 1040? Yeah, I think it might be 1040. It's from about 1990, I think. And to take it apart, work on it and put it back together, it was horrible. And it wasn't even worth it because it's fine, but it doesn't really do that good a job. And I can imagine fitting tools to it would be a nightmare. So yeah, you won't see these amongst my vacuum cleaners. I'll leave that to people who will appreciate them better. But I love this photo at the back. I mean, how of its time is that? It's like an advert for Edinburgh Wool and Mill or something. Those ladies, they could work in Crossroads Motel, couldn't they? If anyone's old enough to remember that. Probably nobody's as old as me. But yeah, so that's the Easy Does It range. And December 1982. So that was your entry level for both uprights and cylinders. So moving on, we come into 1985. And this little sort of sales brochure. And we've got a bit of an explanation of how the motor works. And look at that there. Look at all those 350Es. If only you could just drop into that room and pick one up. And they've all got, I don't know if the camera will pick this out clearly enough, they've all got those BAB tags. You know, the blue and yellow sort of triangle things on the string. They've all got those wrapped around them. But yeah, look at the discussion about the fan. And then we can see a bit more about the Turbomatic range that features at this time. So long gone is the 355, 358T's been replaced, and you get 380 and 390. But we're going to flick to this page. So this is where, hang on, I've got to make it so my fingers don't cover any text in case you want to screenshot this. So we've got the 165, which replaces 160. And we've got 185 to replace 180. And they're effectively pretty much the same machine, just a bit lighter in colour, in grey. Although our basic flip over floor tool has now gone and we have the more deluxe one for both machines. We have a slightly better cord rewind, but we also have, if you can see it there, power selector on the 185. So I think you can get it between, was it 200 and 800 watt? I can't read backwards, so I'm just doing it from memory. You'll be able to read there if that's the case or not. But yeah, these came in, I don't know if it was the year before, but certainly this is dated 1985. It doesn't say new on there, does it? So it's possible that this might be its second year. And then the brochure just goes on to talk a bit more about 350, 350E, and then your Turbomatics, so 380, 390. 390 is very Swizz. It's got remote control on the handle, it's they've both got turbo brushes and, you know, all the gizmos that you would want. And you didn't get the basic flip over floor tool like you did with 358T. You got this, which I think is the best Electrolux sort of all-purpose floor tool. That's my favourite to use, I have to say. And then I like the fact at the back, do it again where I'm not covering things, technical specification. So you can see all the model numbers, all the accessories, and all the basic details of what the features are. Now, can we see, if we look at the 350, 350E, they both have the same toolkit by this time, which must make it easier. And with your 3's, I've got threes on the brain, 165 and 185, they've got the same kit as well. And oh look, we have suction control on our hose handle. So they've learnt. And then when you get to these Turbomatics here, you can see you get turbo brush, you get turbo tool, you get floor tools. Has it got telescopic? I can't remember. It's got no, it hasn't got telescopic one. We've not got to that yet. That's with the 2000 series. But yeah, it's quite good to see. I'll say June 85. This is dated, so it's nice to have. So let's pause and let's imagine we're in June 85. And as if by magic, we're in 1985 territory. So you'll see before you, it's a 165. So there's other examples of this on YouTube. I think Roger does one. I can't remember if Sam got one. Anyway, it's pretty much the same as that 160, other than slightly different design on the front there, slightly different colour. We have, as mentioned, the slightly more deluxe floor tool. It's got a very battered crevice tool with it, but it does the job, so it's fine. We have now with the ones, let's just attach them. Still two pieces, but they're the posher sort with the plastic cuff inside, if you can see. So it just makes it that little bit easier for putting them together and putting the hose in. Just fits that bit smoother. So we have our clip for the flying fanny. That sits there nicely, and it's a posh one. Look, it's got a silver strip on it. Oh, very nice, eh? But yeah, nice bristles, Brussels sprouts, bristle sprouts. Here we go. Very nice. And one thing as well that I spotted, it's slightly shorter, this handle. So I don't know whether when you've got two tubes together like that, whether that makes a longer single piece than the old sort, and they've had to reduce the handle length. This is actually the same length as you get with the 160, but this obviously has the handle and the clip and the suction slide. So it's fine, it's the same sort of height that you get. I think this might actually be slightly taller, because I find this easier to manoeuvre. I always complain about cylinders that being 6 foot, I struggle with them, but this actually is a good sort of height. So this vacuum actually, or at least this tool combination, might see a bit more use than some of my other ones. Just for general day-to-day. Not hammered, because I don't want to waste bags or trash this nice machine. Now, you might hear a bit of rattling around as I pick the machine up, and we did with the 160 as well, and I'd forgotten. I played Russian roulette with the suppressor. I left them on because they looked like they were okay, and typically, about the third time after I switched it on, load of smoke. So there's probably bits of the suppressor rattling around inside. At some point in the future, I'll take them off. I think the reason was I couldn't find my soldering iron, so I couldn't do all the connections like easily, and I haven't got any of those sort of chock block things to screw the wires into. I only had a few, and I've used them all up on various things. So we just make do with it, but it runs fine. So I'll just do a quick little go round with this, and that's just basically a brief overview. The early 80s entry cylinders from Electrolux, little Slimlines, and yeah, there'll be another video coming with a follow-up to what replaced this, and its colour matching cousin. But yeah, let's just move this around, and then I'll give her a quick demo. So there's a smooth wind down on both of these now, but you'll notice that they're quite noisy for what they are, because it's all plastic. There's no metal anymore in these bodies, so they run great. It's not too warm either. One thing to note about the inside of them, the motor, is it's an upright motor from a 500 series. And where you've got the spindle at the end, there's this massive rubber gasket that looks a bit like some kind of like filter, almost like you get in a pond. And that's just shoved on the end to cover the spindle, and it sits under here. So spindle at the back here, and the fan comes to about there. And you wouldn't know. So you could take that motor out and put that in a 502, and you'd have a quite a powerful 502. But they do the job. They sound like they struggle a bit when this lovely creature is on the carpet. But you can just reduce the suction slightly on the hose handle and it's fine. Like it sounds a lot better. But yeah, I think these got better as they went along, because they replaced this, you know, no offence to you, my love, but they replaced the floor tool so that you kind of, yeah, it was a bit easier to clean basically. It glided better. The thing that then lets these down as we get past this model is metal tubes become no more. Metal hose handle becomes no more. And we're into the world of plastic. And I'm not a fan of plastic tools, but we'll see that next time when I talk through those. But yeah, just a quick overview of these. Hope you enjoyed. Any questions or anything? Any details about dates of release and things like that? Anything I've missed? Let me know in the comments. But yeah, I shall return with another Slimline, and it's matching 2000 series cylinder.